Hi everyone, welcome to the Foundation series. Today is alignment and breath. So we'll be going over the specific shapes that your pelvis and spine make and how and when to breathe. So this is closely related to the Pilates method, but this really applies to all other exercise that you do. I'll be really specific as I'm moving, but try not to watch the screen the whole time. I'm going to do every movement with you, so I'm here as a visual reference, but try to stay focused on your own practice so that your neck is in alignment with the rest of your spine. Always make sure that everything feels safe. If you ever have a question about what's going on, then pause your movement and bring yourself to a safe position to then glance at the screen and get a visual idea, and then return to your practice when you're ready. So we'll start on the hands and knees today. You'll come to your mat, and you'll come to what is known as all fours. So when you come into this position, your hands are right below your shoulders and your knees are right below your hips. And you spread your fingertips super wide. So look at your thumbs, reach them toward each other, reach your pinky fingers away from each other, fingertips as wide as possible, and then actively press your fingertips into the floor. And then from here, look forward at the wall in front of you and tip your tailbone up to the ceiling. You'll feel that you have a low arch in your low back, your chest is open, and then do the opposite of this. Round your spine. Curl the tailbone under like you're a dog tucking its tail between its legs. Allow your head to hang, and now your lower back is rounded. Return to the arched position. Look forward, tailbone tipping up to the sky. The low back has an arch in it. And then do the opposite. Round your lower back by curling the tailbone under. Allow your head to hang. Pubic bone pushing forward toward your nose. One more time, simple like this. Arch the back. Some people call this cat-cow. This is a big arch. The tailbone's tipping up to the sky. You're looking straight ahead. And now do the opposite where you round, you allow the head to hang. So you're either looking in towards your core or looking at your thighs as your tailbone tucks under and your low back is long and rounded. Let's add the breath. Come to the arched back position. Stay arched like this. Breathe in. A big expansive inhale. And then as you exhale, find the round position. Curl the tailbone under and blow your air out audibly. Exhale all the air out. Exhale longer than you think you need to. And then arch the back. Looking forward, you inhale like this, allowing the ribs and the belly to expand. And then as you exhale, the ribs pull together, the back of the ribs push up to the ceiling as your tailbone reaches down to the floor. Your head is heavy. Exhale all the air out. One more time. Arch the back, looking forward. You inhale like this. And as you exhale, draw the ribs in and up to the sky as the tailbone curls under and your head hangs low. And then come to a flat back. So press your fingertips into the floor again. I know you feel your arms working. Keep your back flat. Now you're neither arched nor rounded. You're neutral. Don't move, just breathe. 2 full breaths here. Inhale, allow your belly and your ribs to move. But as you exhale, keep your back long and just draw your abdominals up away from the floor. Exhale all the air out, blow it out. One more breath like this without moving the spine. Inhale and allow your belly to expand. And then same thing, as you exhale, the lower back does not move, but the abdominals pull away from the floor as you blow all of your air out. Shift your weight back towards your feet so you can take your hands off the mat, give them a little shake out. And then you'll swing your legs forward and sit in the very center of your mat. So we're gonna revisit the same spinal shapes and breath patterning in a different position. So the knees are bent and the feet are flat and the feet are apart. You'll take your hands and hold on behind your thighs. Actively press your hands into the backs of your thighs. Look straight ahead and lift your chest. Look upwards. So you're back in this arched back position. Your tailbone's reaching back behind you. You're looking forward or up. Take an inhale like this. And then as you exhale, start by curling the tailbone under, lower your gaze towards your legs, round your spine and look in toward your core. So now your lower back is rounded. arch the back. Your weight will shift forward as you drive the tailbone down and back toward the back edge of the mat. You lift the chest, try to arch your back so you don't need to strain your neck looking up. You could look straight ahead and maybe just up a little. And then round the spine by curling the tailbone under, allowing the head to look down or to hang and the low back to round. Starting with the low back, shift your weight forward, reach your tailbone back toward the back edge of the mat, arch the back, lift the chest. You inhale like this, big expansive inhale. Expand and then exhale, curl the tailbone under as you round, blow the air out. And I really like to think about the front of my ribs pulling back and the back of my ribs reaching back behind me. 2 more. Arch from the low back up to the top to arch the back. You inhale, expand. And then as you exhale, curl the tailbone under and round the back. Abs pulling back. Tail is curled under. Head is heavy. 1 more time. From the low back to the top, shift the weight forward, arching the back. Inhale, open the collarbones, open the chest. And then as you exhale, pull the abs back, round the spine, stay here for the full duration of your exhale. And this time I want you to stay here and just walk your hands back towards your thighs, a little bit higher towards your hips. Don't move, just inhale. And then as you exhale, pull the abs inward and slowly lay all the way down. You can always use your hands to help you on the floor. Your head is now on the mat. Bend your knees to walk your feet a little closer in toward your hips. And we're gonna revisit the same patterning here in this position. Take your hands, let's touch the pelvis. So use the heels of your hands to touch your hip bones and your fingertips to lay on top of your pubic bone. So you're feeling the bony landmarks of your pelvis. Eyes are up toward the ceiling, the feet are flat and the knees are apart. Think about how your body feels on the mat here. So before you begin, you'll probably notice that you have a lot of weight in your tailbone, in the backs of your ribs, your backs, maybe the backs of your shoulders, and your head. Now, drive the tailbone into the mat, and you will feel your entire lower back arching off the mat, making like a rainbow shape there. Your fingertips are lower than the heels of your hands. Your pubic bone is pointing down. And now do the opposite. Round your back, your pubic bone points up to the ceiling, your lower back rounds into the mat, but your eyes are still looking up. Do 2 more here. Arch the back, drive the tailbone down, allowing the pubic bone to point down toward the floor. Your pubic bone is lower than the heels of your hands. And then round your low back, tuck the tailbone under. This is a tucked position. Your low back is pressing into the mat, and now your pubic bone is higher than your hip bones. 1 more time with your arms by your sides. Arch the back. Feel the lower back coming off of the mat. The ribs expand. The chest is open. And then round the back. Keep your eyes on the ceiling as you curl your tailbone under. Feel your lower back pressing into the mat. It's rounded. Let's add the breath. Arch the back first. So find the lower back arch, tailbone driving down into the mat. Stay like that for your inhale. And then as you exhale, curl the tailbone under to feel your low back press into the mat, and stay here for as long as it takes you to empty out on your exhale. Blow all the air out. Finish the exhalation. Exhale, 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 longer than you think you need to. This way, you can take a big, clean inhale in as you arch. Inhale, expand the rib cage, expand the belly. As you exhale, curl the tail under, feel the abdominals drawing in and up. So I like to think about the belly button driving into the mat here as I curl the tail under, but you'll feel your entire lower back pressing into the floor. 1 more time, arch the back, breathe in. Exhale, curl the tail under, blowing the air out audibly. Feel the ribs driving down into the mat, pressing the back of the ribs and the low back into the mat. And now find neutral. So neutral is in between those 2 extremes. It's neither arched nor tucked. The easiest way to find that's with your hands. You take your hands back under your pelvis, the heels of the hands on the hip bones, the fingertips on the pubic bone, and try to bring your pubic bone and hip bones into the same plane. So your fingertips are on the same plane as the heels of your hands, not lower or higher. So you're neither arched nor tucked. When you're in neutral, you will feel an arch in your lower back. Your lower back is not on the mat. But now things get a little complicated. You need your lowest rib to be touching the mat for this to technically be neutral. So try to keep your pelvis in the same position. Maybe leave one hand on your pelvis to feel, and take your other hand and feel your ribs. So if you just push your hand into your body, palpate, feel where your ribs end, wrap your fingertips around to your back, and then try to feel that your lowest rib can pull down into the mat while still maintaining a curve in your lower back. It's very complicated considering you're not actually moving. It's a lot, but ideally you're there. 2 full breaths here in neutral. So you'll inhale, and then as you exhale, feel the ribs hugging down into the mat without moving your lower back at all. One more breath like this. Big inhale. And then as you exhale, feel the ribs hugging down. As you blow the air out, the lower back does not change shape. Next breath is going to be different. You inhale to prepare. As you exhale, pull the ribs down into the mat, lift your head up and look towards your thighs. You're now curled up. Take your hands off your pelvis and just look at your pelvis. Ideally, you can see that you're neutral. Your pubic bone is pointing straight ahead. It's not pointing up to the ceiling, and it's not pointing down to the floor. Rest your arms by your sides, lay your head down. Take an inhale down here. You're in neutral. Now as you exhale, keep that tailbone heavy as you curl the head, neck, and shoulders up. Hold. What I want you to think about is your chest curling forward toward your thighs. You're not thinking about bringing your chest up. You're thinking about curling into yourself without disturbing the shape of your pelvis. Lay your head down. This time, take your hands behind your head. Same thing. Breathe in. As you exhale, curl up and hold. So you're isolating your thoracic. You're just moving from the rib cage, and you think about creating a crease right at your ribs and deepening the crease. Like if you're looking at your shirt will crease. Make that crease deeper without losing neutral pelvis. Now with your hands behind your head, just lay your chest down a little and curl back up as you exhale, maybe 5 times. And you'll notice your body will naturally want to tuck your tail under when you're curling up, and you're gonna be really precise to not let that happen, so that your pelvis is totally still and you're just working this crease from the rib cage. Exhale, 2 more. Exhale, ribs hug down, you crease into yourself to curl up. Last time. Lay all the way down and roll onto your side. So when you roll onto your side, your knees are bent and you make a little pillow for your head by just bending your bottom arm and then resting your head down there. If this is uncomfortable for your neck or your shoulder, then grab a pillow or roll up a blanket or a pair of pants or something and take that under your head to support your head. But you want your head to be down and this hand to be free. Your top hand's gonna touch your hip to start. So keep your knees and feet together and stacked, and you'll notice before you do anything, if you're feeling this top hip, it's probably kind of close towards your shoulder, so short through the top side and maybe a little forward, and you'll feel your body resting into the floor on your bottom side. Use this hand and actively push your top hip away from your top shoulder. So that hip is reaching out toward that wall. You're creating more length along your top waistline, and then you'll notice that your bottom waistline has a resistance. It's lifting up off of the mat. And it won't necessarily leave the mat. It's just feeling as though it could. And then relax down. And do that 2 more times, just mobilizing. So you push this top hip out. And as this top hip reaches out, you'll feel as though your bottom side will lift up and actually get shorter as this top side gets longer. And then relax. 1 more time. This is lateral flexion. This is lateral mobility. So side bending, but initiating from the pelvis. And then relax. Let's add the breath. Take an inhale like this. And then as you exhale, push your hip out and feel your abdominals lifting up off of the mat. Feel your bottom rib lifting up, the abs deepening, this hip reaching out. Relax the hip, breathe in, let your body settle into the mat, and then exhale, the top hip lengthens out, the abdominals lift in and up. Let's do 2 more without touching your hip. So just keep your hand up. Inhale, relax. Use your muscles to do this motion. Exhale, the hip reaches out, the abs lift in and up, creating length along the top waistline. 1 more time, inhale to relax. And exhale, hip reaches out, the abs draw in and up, the ribs hug inward. And then relax, take this hand into the mat, push yourself upright, and we'll switch sides. So as you move around, first check in with your neck. So you make a little pillow for your head, bending your bottom elbow or grabbing something to place under your head. And then you stack your legs so that your feet and your knees are together. And you take your top hand and touch your top hip. And pause here. Just make a mental note of how your body feels on the floor. And then actively push that top hip out and feel how your body sensation has changed. The abs lifting off naturally without you even telling them to. And this hip lengthening out, creating length along your top waistline. And then relax the hip in and actively push it out. And again, you'll feel your abs lifting off the floor, not necessarily coming off of the floor, just feeling as though they could. One more time, let it relax in. And this is our lateral movement to lengthen out along the side body. Take the hand off of your hip. Let's do it without. So you'll inhale. Exhale, hip lengthens out. The core lifts in and up. The ribs hugging in. Do 2 more here. Inhale, relax. Expand. Exhale, the hip reaches out. The abs lift in and up. The ribs hug in. One more time. Inhale to release, relax, expand. And then exhale, the hip reaches out. The ribs hug up and in, abs drawing in and up. And relax it down. We're going to roll onto the stomach. So as we come onto the stomach, your legs are as wide as the mat, your feet are heavy, and then you make a little pillow for your forehead by placing one palm down, other palm down, and then your forehead rests on the backs of your hand there. And just bring your body as flat into the floor and heavy as you can. And again, just make a mental note of how your body feels on the floor here. You should feel the entire front side of your body in the ground. Inhale and feel your belly expand into the floor. And then as you exhale, draw the abdominals in and up. They're not actually going to come off of the floor. You're just creating the sensation as if they could. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, expand, allowing the belly to move and widen. And then as you exhale, draw the abdominals in and up. So it's like your belly button is pulling away from the floor. It's probably not going to leave the floor. You're just using the floor and that sensation as a frame of reference to know what your body is doing. One more time. Inhale, expand. Exhale, abs draw in and up. You blow all the air out. Exhale for as long as you possibly can. And then lift your gaze so you're looking at the front edge of your mat and bring your hands wide. So your hands are at the front edge of the mat and you're looking straight ahead. Push down into your hands and lift the chest looking straight forward. Don't come too high. Keep this really gentle. This is back extension. Your low back is arched. Instead of moving from the pelvis now, we're moving from the upper body. And then bend the elbows and lay yourself all the way down so your forehead touches the floor. Coming back up into extension, lead with the eyes. Lift your gaze, look forward. The rest of your spine will follow. You're moving from the top down. And then bend the elbows and slowly lay yourself back down. Your head is the last thing to touch the mat. Let's add the breath. Look forward. Press your hands into the floor to lift up. You can always take your hands wider or further forward if this is too intense. Keep looking straight ahead. Take an inhale, expand through the rib cage and belly. And then as you exhale, slowly melt yourself all the way down, blowing the air out. Let your body melt into the floor. 2 more breaths. So look forward, float up. Inhale. We inhale an extension because we've made room for the ribs to widen, the belly to expand. And then as you exhale, you blow the air out and that helps to melt your spine down all the way into the floor, letting the head rest last. Last time, head moves first. Look forward from the top down. You float up into back extension. Inhale, arch in the back. Ribs expand. Exhale to melt all the way down. And once you're down, you'll bring your legs toward each other a little bit, take your hands back, and push yourself back into a child's pose for a little counter stretch there. And take a big breath. And then you'll roll up And we'll come back to seated in the middle of the mat with your hands behind your thighs. So once you're here, sit tall, actively pressing your hands into your legs. Look forward, lift the chest, breathe in. As you exhale, curl the tailbone under, round your back, and lean halfway back and pause. Stay here, look at your pelvis. Your pubic bone is pointing up to the ceiling. Your lower back is completely rounded. Don't move, just inhale. As you exhale, pull the abs in deeply and then round forward as you finish out that exhale. Lift your chest. Keep holding on behind your thighs. You're up at the top again to inhale. Exhale, curl the tailbone under. Initiate from the bottom to the top to round back. Once you're about halfway back, your elbows stay bent. You're still holding on to your legs. You don't move. You just inhale here. Keep curling the tailbone under. As you exhale, pull the abs back, round your chest forward. Blow the air out, staying rounded. Once you're all the way forward, lift from the bottom of the top, lift the chest, look forward. 2 more. This is called half roll back. Inhale. Exhale, curl the tail under. We're moving between our spinal shapes. We're taking the specificity into more mobility. Don't move, just inhale. Exhale, abs pull back as you round the spine forward. Lift from the bottom to the top to sit tall. Last time, inhale. Exhale, curl the tail under, rounding halfway back. This time, stay halfway back and take your hands lower down your legs. Don't move, just inhale. As you exhale, pull the abs in more deeply, round all the way down to the floor. When your head reaches the mat, make sure your head is on the mat, and then walk your feet in a little closer towards your knees. And then take your arms along by your sides. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, curl the head, neck, and shoulders up, but the pelvis is neutral, so the hips don't move. Pause here. I like to think about the pubic bone reaching straight forward as the belly button pulls in and back. So we've got this two-way energy going. Lay the head down, you inhale. Exhale, curl up. The ribs hug down. As you curl up, you stay up for the duration of that exhale. Pubic bone reaching forward, abs pulling back. One more time, inhale at the bottom. Exhale to curl up. Once you're up, take your hands behind your head. Let's twist. Check out your pelvis first. Keep your tail heavy, stay in neutral. And now twist your upper body toward the right. So your right elbow is rotating back toward your center line. Your pelvis has not moved. Return center, inhale. Exhale, twist other side. Keeping the hips still. Return center, inhale. Exhale, twist. So we're isolating the thoracic here by keeping the pelvis totally still. Inhale, center. You're twisting from this rib cage, from this mid back. Exhale to rotate, staying curled up. One more time each side. Inhale in the center. Keep holding on to your head to support your neck. Exhale to twist, keeping that tailbone heavy, keeping the hips unaffected by the twist. Last time, inhale center. Exhale to twist. Tailbone is still and heavy, rotating toward that other side. Face center, lay down. One more exercise like this. We're gonna visit our side bending in this context. So arms long by your sides, breathe in. Exhale, curl the head back up, stay neutral in the pelvis, the ribs crease forward. Now take your right hand and try to touch your right foot. You're side bending. Inhale, return center, stay in neutral. Exhale, other side. Reach your left fingertips toward your left foot. Anything you can touch, those ribs hug in. Inhale, center. Exhale, side bend. This is lateral flexion. Inhale, center. Your chest stays curled up. It doesn't curl up higher. You just crease into one side, keeping the pelvis still. One more time. Inhale, center. Exhale, crease. Blow your air out. Last time. Inhale, center. And exhale to crease, blowing all the air out. Face center and lay all the way down. And you'll roll back onto your side. So again, making that pillow for your head by bending your bottom elbow, resting your head down on your arm, and your knees are bent. This time, a little more specific with your leg position. So take your top hip and push the top hand, push your top hip out away from your top shoulder again. And then once your pelvis is in that position, just walk your feet back so that when your knees are bent, your feet are in the same line as your pelvis. So it would be your feet, your hips, your shoulders, and your head are all in one line, and then your knees are bent forward from there. So now we're finding neutral pelvis and neutral spine on our side. So once you're down, if you push this top hip out, you'll feel your core lifting up. This is the same position we were just in on our backs, but now we're on our side. But it feels different because our relationship to gravity is different. So use the mat to help you feel where you need to be. Just like if you're on your back, you want to feel like your ribs, they still have contact, but it's the sensation as if they're lifting up. The sensation as if you're sticking your tailbone back into the mat, except it's just going back in space. And this hip is lengthening out. Inhale, prepare. As you exhale, the core lifts off the mat and you hover this top leg up. That's all that's happening here. As you inhale, lower the leg. Coordinate the breath with the movement. Exhale, lift the leg and the core. We're doing 10 all together. Inhale to lower. It doesn't relax. It just hovers. And then exhale to lift, the ribs lifting up. Keep this top waistline long. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. Abs drawing in, ribs hugging in, inhaling down. Top waistline long, exhale up. 3 more. So it's super similar to what we were doing before, except before we were challenging the stability of our core connection with our upper body. And now we're just using the breath to bring a little bit more integration into the work. One more time, inhale to lower and exhale to lift. Take it down, push yourself upright, and we'll move over to the other side. So generally, we exhale on exertion. So exhale when things are hard. It will always help you to find a deep connection and to move through the movement. There are exceptions to all rules, but you can kind of go by that in your own practice and you'll always be safe to exhale when things are most challenging. Start by finding your positioning. The head is down. Your neck feels safe, so if you need to grab a pillow, do that, and then touch your top hip. Push your top hip away from your shoulder, and your feet are in line with your pelvis. Your head is heavy. Just inhale here. As you exhale, feel the core lifting up, so the belly button's drawing in and up. The ribs are pulling inward. Exhale to lift your leg. Inhale to lower to a hover. Exhale to lift. Time it. It's inhale down and exhale up. So you're only going to move at the pace that your breath is dictating. Inhale to lower. Full breath, strong exhale, blow the air out, feel the core connect. Inhale to lower. Exhale, the leg comes up, the abs deepen. 4 more, making sure that you're still in neutral, right? So length along the top waistline, and as if you're driving that tailbone down into the mat, except it's just pushing back into space. 2 more. Exhale to lift. 1 more time, inhale to lower, and exhale to lift up. Take it down, bring yourself up. We're coming back to all fours. So we'll come back to the hands and knees, just like how we started. And you have a lot more awareness now. So coming back to the cat-cow, spread the fingertips wide, push the fingertips into the floor. Look forward, tip your tailbone up to the ceiling. Take an inhale like this. As you exhale, round the spine. Let your head hang, blow all the air out, belly button up to the sky. Tailbone tucks under. 2 more, arch the back, inhale, big expansive inhale, expanding through the ribs and belly. And then exhale, round the spine. Actively push your fingertips into the floor as the ribs push up to the ceiling. 1 more time. Inhale, expand, move the body, move the breath. Blow the air out audibly. You should hear it. Blow that exhale, abs deepening in and up, tailbone tucking under. And then come to neutral. So you're looking at the mat between your hands. Curl your toes under. First one is just breathing. Your spine stays long. Just inhale, allow your belly to move. As you exhale, draw the abdominals in and up away from the floor without changing the positioning of your spine at all. We're going to add on to that. Inhale, expand. As you exhale, the abdominals deepen in and up, and then keep exhaling and just bring your knees an inch off the mat. Keep blowing the air out. Stay there for the full duration of your exhale. Knees float down softly. Once they're down, you inhale. 2 more like this. Exhale, abs deepen. They pull away from the mat as your knees hover up. Stay here. Keep looking at the mat. Spine is long. One more time. Knees are down. Breathe in. Start the exhale. The abs deepen. The knees hover up. Stay here until you're done with your exhale. Keep blowing the air out. Abs deepening. Take your knees down. Uncurl the toes. Shift back so you can take your hands off of the mat. And that's it. So that's alignment and breath. Those are the most common spinal and pelvic positions and shapes that will show up again and again throughout the method. So truly the most important thing you can always do in this exercise or any exercise is just breathe. So connect to your core, use your breath, and I hope you enjoyed the practice. Thank you for spending your practice with me and for taking this time for yourself.